Hey there YouTube, Shirotar1979 coming at you with another video. This one is reply to Easy Loves Animals video to me, Wikipedia can be so full of it. And this one is a video in response to, well, I guess a few of them we've had YouTube videos exchanged back and forth amongst each other. And mainly dealing with, sometimes with her vegan approach, and a lot of times with her religion saying, basically saying, I am the example that all Wiccans should follow. Or even using Christian context for Wicca, which I always find interesting. Say, you know, like her video, especially her video, Christians think Wiccans are vegetarians. Kind of saying, well, if Christians think this about us, why aren't you? You know, and I think I'm actually going to do a video response to that. But that's going to be a separate one. This one is basically all about her views on animal rights and the fact that she thinks I hate animals because I eat meat, or that I have no problem with, I wouldn't say no problem, but I support animal testing for medical research. I am very much against them for cosmetics and things like that. You know, that's just one of those, that's personally me, you know, and of course this is all personal. I do have one huge problem with this video. It's not her veganism. I really have no problem with it. I do have a problem with her trying to force it on me, but that's not the main problem I have. Not even the fact that the entire argument she is proposing in this video, that you are proposing, EC, is nothing but a long emotional rant. Torture, torture, torture. But you say stuff. They're throwing chemicals in rabbits' eyes and breaking their necks, or the animals are breaking their necks. But you're not showing any paperwork to back up what you're saying. You're saying this is just happening, but I'm not seeing any court documentation, things like that. Where my big problem comes into being, though, everyone, is when you said I am racist against animals. Because it takes me back to PETA's horrible, and I really detest, and I'm talking detest, this campaign they had where they compared what's happening on some of these factory farms, where I think what they're doing to these animals on some of these factory farms is horrible, to the Holocaust of the Jews. Because it degrades what happened in the Holocaust, what Hitler did to these human beings. And not just Hitler, all these leaders of the German regime. And I don't know how you can make those kind of comparisons with a straight face. Unless you want to, like, degrade human life and put us on the same as goldfish. You know, things like that. And I'm sorry, we're not the same kind of animals. Do I care for animals? Yes. But if me and my wife are being chased by a grizzly bear, and my dog's with me, and my dog, you know, ends up, the only way to get away is to sacrifice my wife or dog, I'm sorry, my dog is going to die. I love him. I care for him. I take the best care I possibly can for him. But he is not my wife. He is not a human being. That's just how I view it, okay? So, and to compare racism, a struggle the African Americans and many people living today have to endure, something that is still going on today to animals, I think, is to degrade what people go through. Honestly, that's just how I feel. It's kind of like my Uncle Terry, and this, I used to enjoy the show called Hogan's Heroes. You know, it's kind of making fun of what happened in the prisoner of war camps. You know, satire. Well, I got married, and it's now my Uncle Terry is a hero of World War II. He was part of the 101st Airborne. And I'm sure if you've seen Brown Brothers, you know who these people were. He was part of D-Day. Unfortunately, he was captured. He was captured by the Germans and spent a long time in a German POW camp. And early on, I made a Schultz reference, and he knew what Hogan's hero was, and I could just see a hurt in his eyes. Just to make light of something like that just hurt him, and it just kind of changed my way of thinking about the words I use. So, yes, I have a huge problem with that because it's first off, it's not racism. If you want to come up with a word to describe it, let's just say speciesism, okay? And if that's not even quite true. So I do have a problem with it because it's a low blow and it's nothing but an emotional argument. Now, to get to the core of what you're saying, is you started getting onto me using Wikipedia as a source of material for specifically the Mayan and Inca dietary video, where I try to explain to you, no, the Incas and Mayans did eat meat. And I provided you 2 links for each. Oh, and of course, there's also considering with Wicca denominations, where you're saying Wiccans don't have denominations. Well, they do. There's different paths in Wicca. Not everybody believes the same. So there's that link too. Well, to be fair, I gave you four links, 2 for each. One to a place called ThinkQuest. Let me make sure. Yeah, ThinkQuest. And the other one was to 2 sites, well-documented Wikipedia sites. Now, Wikipedia, I agree with you, can be full of it. That's why whatever information you get, you got to research more for yourself. And these 2 sites for Wikipedia are very detailed, especially the Inca. Okay, it lists sources and things like that. And it's easily researched. They were primarily agricultural. They ate primarily, grown vegetables and things like that, in addition to milk from the animals, which goes against a lot of veganism, not vegetarianism, veganism, and they supplemented that with the meat from the pack animals. Okay, the same way early American settlers did. We primarily ate here in America fruit, grains, and things like that, and supplemented it with meat. It is only in recent history that meat has come into abundance, where we can actually eat meat as a main course. Now, I will agree, that is unhealthy. I agree, that is very unhealthy, but it is only in recent times. So, when you look at a Wikipedia site, do research for yourself. And that's why I gave you 2 links for each. And even in the Wikipedia sites I gave you, they give additional links to additional research. Okay, one that has lost civilizations. I mean, it's interesting. So, Wikipedia is a valid source. Just because it disagrees with you, and whoever said animals don't feel pain is an idiot. That's why there's some stuff you kind of look like idiot. I've never said animals don't feel pain. So please don't say I agree with something when I don't, So, when you want to, I would love to hear back from you, but what I'm asking for is show me exactly how medical testing on animals, and don't use the word torture, don't use these emotional words, show me that it has never, ever brought medications for human beings and or other animals. Most of veterinary medicine and science has come about from animal testing. And yes, they are bred to do this. Okay? They are. I guess that's just a fact. I don't know where you were going with that, but there you go. So anyway, just show me exactly, since you're harping on the medical advances, show me exactly how no animal testing has ever brought about any usable, directly or indirectly, medications in the history of science. I would love to see your research on this without any emotional context. And just so everyone can see, I'm actually going to repost the links to the Incas and Mayans from the Wikipedia. So anyone who wants to see a little bit about what she's talking about, the links she's talking about directly, feel free. Anyway, everyone, God bless. EC, I'm not upset with you. I just want a little bit more detail. Anyway, God bless. Take care, everybody.